right, welcome to the Jerry Graves channel. I want to talk about ostracism and how to deal with the strong emotions that come with being ostracized. First and foremost, you got to recognize the fact that you're human and that it doesn't matter. You're never going to get to the point where it's just not going to bother you. There are some people who are just untouchable, but most people are going to be bothered. And it's just kind of like you got to look at it as, so basically, you're going to feel it no matter what. If somebody turns their back to you, it feels different from somebody facing you, somebody giving you eye contact versus somebody not looking at you. Our bodies react to other people's bodies, whether we like it or not. It happens before we can even think. So I have like a pronged strategy to dealing with the emotions. And so the first one is just straight up avoidance. It sounds bad, but there's times where you need to just avoid. And then dealing with your emotions, and that's doing things like self-massage, things like that are active. And then just acceptance. So you have those three different ways of doing it. So if you want to get really good at it to the point where you can't really be like shaken up too much, you can go home and still get a good night of sleep. You're not carrying those emotions with you. The first thing, I think the most important thing, is just learn to accept. And that goes with the part of the video where I was talking about how you're going to naturally react to it. You can't not react to rejection. Just accepting how you feel. You know, if you feel bad, being honest with yourself about it. You know, don't tell yourself that this isn't a big deal, or no, I don't feel bad. And just feel those emotions. You know, you're never going to get anywhere if you run away from them. You know, and ostracism is very powerful. So it's one of those things that if you ignore it, it'll build up to the point where, you know, like you could just have a meltdown. So that's the first step, and that's the first way of dealing with it. And the opposite way is trying to actually go into your body and kind of dissipating those feelings. Like, I like to use like self-massage. I like to I think one of the most powerful ways to deal with being ostracized is crying. Now, obviously, you don't want to break down and cry right in the middle of your work center or your place of employment, but just finding a place off to the side. And for me, and for most of you guys, you're so trained not to cry that you probably still won't be able to cry. Just pretending to cry, like that in and of itself, like even if you don't feel like crying, it gives you like a nice reset. I think just God put that there, like put crying inside of us so that we can deal with very overwhelming things. So if you aren't crying, then, you know, but so a lot of times what I do, I just find a place when nobody's really looking, and you know, I pretend to cry. I'm saying pretend to cry, I mean it. Like I know it sounds like maybe I'm actually bawling and things like that, but I'm serious. Like I pretend to cry, go through the motions, and it just releases a lot of tension in your face, like deep inside of your tear ducts, and all the muscles all around those areas are normally tense if you are being ostracized, you know. So that's like the only way to release the tension. You can't even massage your face or anything like that. You can't stretch your face. You can't do anything other than actually going through and at least pretending to cry, because there's just no other way to reach those muscles. So that's one way. The second way to directly affect your body is to I call it, well, is to kind of push yourself out of the fetal position. The more that you feel ostracized, the more you're going to go into the fetal position a little bit, like hunch your shoulders, tilt your head down, you know, and kind of start to protect your vital organs. And you're going to want to go somewhere that's safe and just kind of hide out. Like after work, you get under your covers and just kind of just chill. you know, and that's the fetal position, even if you don't completely go into it. So stretching your body against that and exposing the middle part of your chest, um, they call it a thoracic extension. So you would put your arms, your hands behind your head, you put your elbows out, and kind of try to face them forward and stretch like the middle of your chest, in between your chest and like your solar plexus, that area, leaning backwards, and just stretch it and allow it to be open into the world. It gives you a lot of it makes you feel really good, just because you're really exposing yourself, you're exposing your vital organs to the world. And once you complete the exercise, it's like you know that you're safe, because I mean you couldn't get any more vulnerable than that, and you're not, nobody attacked you. So you have that. And just self massage. I like to bring like a tennis ball, like rub over your shoulders, your trapezius. Like there's certain areas that are going to collect a lot of tension when you're dealing with that. Facial massages and stretching. All of those things combined, all like if you can do it all together, uh, really help. And then finally, you have avoidance, which is one of the more advanced type of ways of handling it, which is just trying not to take in any information from your environment. Like they're transmitting the information to you that you're the odd man out. So what happens if you don't see those? If you don't see them, uh, displaying rejecting body language towards you, like that you are, like, you've already got that information, you don't need to keep being reminded over and over again. So try not to see it. When you start getting rejected socially, we're already conditioned to start being really sensitive to it, so we start to look for every little sign of it. But instead, turn away, because you have people that are ostracizers. They aren't just the sheep who are just following along. They're actually the people that put it into play. So you kind of want to put your back towards those people. If they come into the room, move away. Try not to feel their presence. Like if they're too close, like you can feel them. If they go and try to socialize or talk to somebody and right in front of you, it's going to feel different than if you just face the other direction. And so like you start doing things like that, you're taking in less information, and you're not feeling as many blows or as many punches. you know um a lot of these people, they'll do it intentionally. Like they want you to see, and they want everybody to see this rejecting, this shunning body language. um So you have that option of not seeing it, putting up your hand to block your peripherals, like scratch your face as you walk by, or completely, as you walk by these people, turn your head the other direction, and just kind of not taking that information. But then you have other techniques that you can use, um, like breathing into your belly instead of breathing into your chest. You need to practice that in the environment. And just in general, this is a good place to practice controlling your mind and dealing with pressure, because you're not actually in physical harms. You're not in harm's way. So breathing into your stomach, it's important because, like, being rejected causes flight or fight. And so you'll normally, if you see like somebody who's important reject you, you start breathing into your chest and breathing really hard and fast, and that further, like, makes you go into a complete panic attack. Breathing into your stomach mitigates that. It already sets you in the path of not going into a complete panic, uh, breathing really fast mode. You're already controlling that. Even when you first turn to look, you know that you're going to be taking in new information. So already be preparing your breath to go into your stomach as you are looking in a different direction for the first time. Okay, so also you can stomp the ground and start grounding yourself as well. Ground yourself, use meditation, eat well, nutrition, all this counts. When you stomp the ground and you feel the ground beneath your feet, it makes you feel more in your body, less depersonalized, and things just aren't going to affect you as much. All right, so finally I want to talk about the strategy that they use. Ostracism is just like any other strategy as far as warfare. It's based on deception. It's based on keeping you caught off guard. And what that means is that a lot of times you might start to think that they're going to treat you a certain way. After a while, you get used to certain people ignoring you, and then something happens where maybe one of the people starts talking to you, and then the next day that person doesn't talk to you, and it confuses you. Like, why are they doing that? And it's just to keep the ostracism fresh. It's to keep you guessing, to keep you confused, to keep you questioning yourself, and to keep you caught off guard. It's to keep you in a shocked frame of mind. If they just keep doing the same thing the same way, then you're going to get used to it. So there's always a chance of there being bigger rejection. It starts off maybe a couple of people, and the next thing you know, it ends up being like your boss or somebody, treating you like, they don't want you around. And that catches you off guard because you're like, even you, or something like that, or somebody stooping really low to separate you from the group. Maybe you guys are supposed to do a project together and they go out of their way, like completely out of their way, and going further than what you would even expect just to get out of being able to work with you. That same person when you first started out wouldn't have done that, but as time progresses, it's one of those things where they naturally get worse and worse as it goes. But it's also a strategy to keep the ostracism fresh, is to keep you not knowing what's going to happen next, and to basically just be shocked. So watch the people who are maintaining your ostracism, the people that are actively interrupting you, and whenever you are trying to get involved or surprising you, they're different. That's the reason why I say that there's ostracizers and then there's just sheep. And if you watch my other videos, it's whenever I always talk about being surprised, like narcissists, they like to surprise you. It's the same thing here. They want to keep surprising you because that's warfare. It's to keep you deceived. When, like, it's Sun Tzu, like when they attack, they want you to think that they're really close when they're actually really far away. And when they're far away, they pretend that they're really close. It's complete warfare. It's complete, like, people don't think that it's war, but it actually is. And you got to get to the point where you start to expect the unexpected so that you're not all surprised, because being surprised makes it where it's like you're going to be more affected by everything. Once you get that first shock of the day, then everything goes downhill. Now you can't get out of bed, once you go home. So start to expect, instead of hoping that they change, expect that they won't. Expect the unexpected. Expect them to hit below the belt. Stoop really low, and just never be caught off guard. And that's all I got. Hopefully this helped. I know there's a lot of people that are looking for answers on the subject, so I'm just trying to give some answers. I know I normally talk about narcissism, and I'm going to continue talking about that, but I feel like this is a subject that's just nobody talks about this. There's no good strategies for the victim. Like, there's people that talk about what it is and how it works, but nobody talks about any like real strategies for it. So I want to talk about something that's direct. And hopefully I didn't bore you too much, but that's all I got. Peace.